Today is our first ever Education on Air conference. We are holding 46 Education on Air Hangouts today, and I believe we're wrapping up the day, so this may be one of our last, but we wanted to thank all of our presenters for putting these on, and you guys can watch any of the sessions by simply going to the presenters' Google Plus pages at the appointed time or after the fact to go ahead and check out some of those other sessions. You can find a list of all of the sessions at sites.google.com/site/EduOnAir. I'll go ahead and make sure that that link is in the comments section on Joe's Google Plus page as well, in case any of you want to go through and check out some of the other sessions. I know there's a few revolving around apps and Chrome. So last but not least, I'd like to introduce Joe, who is going to be our presenter today. Joe is a middle school math teacher. He teaches in Santa Barbara. He's been teaching for 10 years and is also a Google certified teacher, so he is familiar with Google tools. I'll let you go ahead and take it away, Joe.
Okay, thanks, Emma. And we had another participant join us, Abby, that looks like she jumped off there. I hope we didn't scare her to jump away. So, oh, there you are, Abby. Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay, so welcome to the presentation. When you get a chance, mute your mic so that when you make any noise, you won't get shown up here on the front screen here and overstage me there. We can't have you upstaging me on this thing. So I'm gonna be coming back and forth. What I'm going to do is share my screen with everybody, and Emma will be monitoring things to make sure if there's any questions or concerns, she'll get those to me. We have things like on the previous one I did a little trouble with audio and stuff like that, and I don't even know sometimes when that's going on. So in a second here I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to go to my presentation. Okay, so I thought this title was quite good. I thought this up all by myself, so polishing your Chrome with apps of gold. My name is Joe Donahue, and as Emma said, I'm a middle school math teacher. I teach a little bit north of Santa Barbara, but I live in Santa Barbara in California, and very lucky to be here. I'm a Google certified teacher, and I have a bunch of other certifications that I've gotten over the past few years. And if any of you want to know more about me, I'm so intriguing, you can click on this link here during the presentation or on the YouTube video, and it'll take you to my biography, and you're welcome to go there and explore as much as you'd probably ever want to know about me. And down here is my contact information. I'm always willing to talk to people and help people out if you find something that you're interested in that we don't cover in the presentation, and you would like to talk to me about it, I'd be more than happy to do that with you. So I guess the first question is, why do we want these apps? And by the way, we're going to be looking at extensions as well. And in a moment, I'll get into what the difference of those two things are. But why do we want to bother putting these apps on our browser, and what's the reason for them? Well, probably the best reason is that you can take your Chrome browser and you can really customize it to fit your needs. I'm assuming several of you listening are educators, and so you can make it more of an education type browser, and the information is there for you. It also gives you easy access to a lot of different things, as you'll see. It's also, because it's within the browser that we're doing everything, there's a lot less chance for hang-ups, and if there are hang-ups, you don't have to reboot your computer. Instead, you can just go and close that tab and keep moving right along. A lot of times when you put add-ons or plugins on your web browser, those actually go right on your machine. And when there's an update, and I'm sure some of you have seen this with things like Flash and so on, when there's an update of something, you have to re-update your Flash and so on. Where here, everything is automatically updated. You don't have to worry about that. And lastly, we'll get into the idea that you can sync everything you customize on your browser. So you can sync it, and then no matter what computer you are on, it'll be synced with your Google account. The same extensions and apps will come up for you on any computer that you're on. So those are some pretty good reasons for doing that. Now let's go in and look at the difference between apps and extensions. An app is an actual web page that comes onto your browser. And so when we get into looking at the different types of apps, what you'll see is that when I open an app, I'm actually opening up a new tab, a new window in my browser, and it's just like. But what's nice about it is that you're opening it up inside of a browser, so it's easy to get to it. You can go back and forth very, very easy from that. And an extension is more like a plugin. An extension is something that keeps you on the same page that you're on, the same web page, but brings something up that you may want to look at. So, for instance, if you look even right down here, this is the weather channel. I know you can't read it too well, but what I can do is if I want to check the weather, I don't have to open up a new tab, a new window, go to the weather channel, bring that up. With one click of the button, I can bring up that information, and I can show you that in a moment here. So where do you find apps and extensions? Well, I'm going to go live now to my page here, but this is what a new tab looks like in the Chrome browser. So I'm going to jump out of my presentation here for a second, and I'm going to go to a new tab. So you should see my browser window right now, and right up here is the new tab for the browser. So if I click on this, what comes up are my applications, my apps that are in that I've installed onto my computer, and we'll get into some of these later on. But right up here, as you can see right here, this is the Chrome Web Store, and this is where you go to find the apps that you want to possibly use, apps and extensions. So I'm going to click on that right now, and that's going to take me to the Chrome Web Store page. Now, this was just recently updated. It was a lot sort of I would say it was more messy, hard to follow than it is now. But it's pretty well organized right now, and there are thousands of apps that are out there. And so what they've done, what Google has done is over here in the left-hand column, try to put some categories in here so that you can go through and get a general idea of what kind of apps you might want to look at. Because as you can see, as I scroll down here through the general pages, it just goes on forever. And I think this is like an infinite scroll. If you look over here, it just goes on and on forever. There's tons and tons of them. But you may want to go and look at something like the education apps, right? So we can go to the education apps, and then what we have here are things that you as a teacher may be more interested in looking at. So not only can you just scroll down and look at these through categories, you can also search up here. So if you've heard of a particular app, or you want to look at some apps that are of a particular category, I can come up here and I can put in weather. And I hit weather, and I'll get a bunch of apps that will come up, and I can look at these a little closer. Now, what's nice about the web store is the web store gives you a really, really nice description. So, and by the way, this green line that you see here with the checkbox, and Emma, will you tell me that, make sure this is all coming through and you can hear me okay and you see my screen okay? So, Emma, are you out there?
I am. Sorry, I thought you could see me.
Okay.
Yes, everything looks fine.
Everything's working okay? Okay,
yep,
great.
Perfect.
Okay, so this green line here with the check mark means that I've installed this app on my machine. And actually, this is an extension. But I can go down and I can see all these different ones that I could possibly deal with the weather. So it's a very nice setup to go in, and if I want to know more about a particular app, I can just click on it, and I'll get a much nicer detailed view. I can look at the overview. This is some information about it. I can look at reviews, look at what people have said about it. Is it a good one? Is it causing hang-ups with somebody's, excuse me, is it causing hang-ups with somebody's machine and stuff like that? So this is where you go to find the app that you possibly want to put onto your Chrome. This is again a picture of the Chrome Web Store, and then also on the Web Store, and I'll go back to live here in a second. We can look at installing the apps and extensions. So let me go back to that web page again. Excuse me. So here I am at the store. If I come down on the left-hand side a little ways, you see I can go to the extensions here. And if I click on this, what you'll notice, if you're trying to figure out whether or not an app is an app or an extension, the little puzzle pieces right here tell you that. So when you see one of these screens with a little puzzle piece, I'm going to shut my mic off for a second because I have to cough. So excuse me for that. So these little puzzles here tell you that you're going to have an extension. And just so you know that when you install an extension, it ends up coming up here where your address bar is. So all these things you see up here are extensions. And then if I want to see what apps I have, then I would go to a new tab page, and these are my applications. Now when I hover over a particular extension or app, then I get a very short description of it, and to install it, all I need to do is click on Add Chrome. So I'm gonna find something I want to install. I don't want to install Facebook, but I'll look at something in the academic resources here. Might be fun to install. Quote book. Let's just go here for the fun of it. So I go here and I can see collect and share your favorite quotes and quotations. So if I want to install this, all I do is click on Add to Chrome, and just verifies that I do want to add quote books. And now it is on my page here. We'll get back to what this shows here, but this is quote books. Anytime I want to use that, I just click on it, and that particular application will come up. So it's really easy to install both apps and extensions. Any questions out there yet that people want to ask or have any questions about anything yet? Nothing? Okay. I'm looking for, starting my presentation. I know what I have to do. Okay. So that's how you install your apps, just by hovering over them, clicking on the Add to Chrome, and it's done for you. Now, you can also manage your apps, and I'll show you that live in a second here. But if you go up on a new tab page, this is a new tab page right up here, and you can see right here it says New Tab. And for those of you that are real novices with Chrome, this little button right here brings up a new tab every time. So if I go to a new tab page and I see my little wrench up here, I can click on that wrench, and I come down to Settings, as you see here. And Settings takes me to this page here, and I can click on Extensions, and that will take me to my extension. So let me again go live and show you that. So here I am on a new tab page. I can go up to my wrench up here, click on the wrench, and come down to Settings. And now these are all my settings, and I can go right to Extensions here. And this is where I can manage my extensions. And this shows all the extensions that I've downloaded or that I've connected with, and it shows me whether I've enabled it or not. And if I want to take one of those away, let's see if this will work. Let me look at okay, so right here, if you look, you see this is my Ad Block extension. I should be able to click on this Enable button, and that should go away. And it does. So these are my extensions up here, and these little check boxes here allow me to go in and remove them from up here, and I can take them completely off my Chrome, or I can just disable them, and for reasons that I may want to just not have access to it right away, I can do that. So also in your management of your extensions, you have usually two different types of options that you can look at. One option comes right here with the extension itself. So if I click on this options page here, what I get is some information about what options are available for this weather channel. So the language I want it in, where I want to have the location for my weather to be taken from, that type of thing. And you'll find that some of these have different kinds of options. This is the Craigslist option. This is kind of a nice one. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But if you use Craigslist, you can set it up so that in Craigslist website itself, you can actually see the pictures that are connected to an advertisement. Oh, okay. I was looking for one more here that will have it. Let's see if this one does what I want it to do. Nope, this it's not the one I want to look at. One of the things you can do with under options, and maybe it's here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. If you're familiar with Chrome, you know that there's something called the incognito web page, and you get to it by clicking on File up here. So if you click on File, one of the choices you have is a new incognito window. An incognito window means that nothing is saved. There are no cookies saved. There's no cache. There's nothing. So if you're doing something that you just don't want to be kept information kept on, you can go to that incognito window. If I do that, and I'll show you here in a second, if I come up here and I click on this new incognito window, I get a new window, and you'll see that my extensions are all gone. I don't have any extensions up here anymore. And I believe my apps will be gone too, so I have no apps or extensions. So I can, if I want, I can allow these particular extensions, whichever ones I want, to be in my incognito windows as well. So let's just click a couple of these things and say, yeah, we want that one in there, and we'll put the Evernote in there, I think. And now if I go back and I go to an incognito window, you'll see, oh, those ones don't have, sorry, those ones don't have extensions that show up there. Let's pick one that has an extension. AdBlock does. So if I click on AdBlock and do that, now when I go to my incognito window, we should see, he lied, we should see the AdBlock up there, and I don't see it. So, oh, there it is right there. Okay. So there's my AdBlock and there's my Evernote. Okay, so these are extensions that I suggest show in my incognito window. I'm going to come back to the site for a second here. Does anyone have any questions or anything about what we've seen so far, or any comments or ideas or anything? Nothing? Pretty quiet out there? Everyone on the East Coast has gone to bed already, I think, maybe. Huh? Okay. So, yeah.
Any issues with performance or anything, or any suggestions, an application versus an extension?
I mean, as far as speed or showing, no, I've not found anything yet. They all work very well. I've had it's really quite instantaneous. It works very, very smoothly.
Thank you.
Sure. Oh, I got to share again. Okay, so I'll share my window back here. And we're looking at the Chrome store, and the fact that we can manage our extensions here. And by the way, any of these extensions can be moved around. I can switch them just by drag and dropping where I want to put them and so on. Very easy to do so. And now let's take a look at about how you manage your application. So we're going to get out of this screen and go back to a new tab. So let me get a new tab up here. So here's my new tab here. Now, one of the things that you can do, as I said before, you can drag and drop, move things around with the apps as well. And again, reminding you that when you go to a new tab, these are your applications. They come up. Up here, most of your extensions will come up. There are some extensions that you don't use up here. They're more specific, and when you install them onto Chrome, they don't show up here. But when you need them, they'll be there. And I can't think of anyone right at the moment, but when we do get to one, I'll point it out to you. So getting back to managing your apps, one of the things you'll notice is down here, there are these little buttons here, and as I click on these buttons like most visited, this brings up my most visited sites. I put in a category for math, and these are where my apps. If this is a good example. If this is an application that helps you write equations. So, for instance, if I'm on a web page or some other type of document and I want to write an equation, since I'm a math teacher, I can open this application up and do my equation in there and save it and put it into some other doc, a Google Doc or a web page or something like that. And so this I would normally keep in my math category. So I can just take this and I can either just drag it over there and put it in, oops, went too far, just put it into, and this is a lousy way to do it, I guess, because it makes a mistake there. But I can also take this and I can lose it. I can, where'd it go? Must have been back over there. So let's suppose I want to put the weather one into my math thing. I can also just take it and drag it down and drop it into the math one like that as well. So this is a way to manage your apps. As you start collecting apps, you may want to put them into categories. You can come down here and you can start a new category just by bringing something down here. I believe you can. I had it going here a second ago. I'll come back to finding that. So managing your apps is on a new tab, real easy to use. Can I answer any questions for anybody? Okay, well, one of the things I also mentioned with these applications, one of the advantages of using apps and extensions, is the fact that you can sync that. You can sync these so that if you opened a Chrome browser on another computer and you sign in with your Gmail account or your Google account, you can sync. And so that anytime, no matter what computer you're on or which browser, which Chrome browser you're on, you'll get the same extensions and so on and apps as you would on any other computer. And you sync by coming over to the wrench again. This is your settings wrench. So what you can see is right down here, I'm signed in with my Gmail account. And when I open up a Chrome on another machine, if I go over to my settings and come down and sign in here, then once I do that, I will see the same Chrome that you see right here in front of me. So it's very advantageous to do that, to sync all your apps so that once you've customized your Chrome page, you can just go right ahead and have that wherever you need to use it. Well, let's go back and take a look at some of the apps and extensions that I think are kind of useful here. Let me just find that here. Now these are I've not used all of these very much. I've looked at them a little bit and I've gotten some feedback on which ones are good. Recently closed tabs. This is a really nice one because this one, if you've ever been in this situation where and let me bring that up to show you. I think I have it on my computer here. Is this the one? Let's see. Last pass. Recently closed tab is right here. This is a extension, and you'll notice that when I click on it, what it does, it lists all the different tabs that I've recently closed. So this is really nice that if you've closed something and you can't remember where you were, you can go back and find it pretty easily. So that's a very nice extension. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the ones that I have up here that I use quite a bit, and then I'll go back to that page that had the list. So maybe some of you would have some input on that. So the ad block one is very nice. For some reason, I'm into weather, and I'm not a meteorologist or anything, but I like to know what the weather is in my hometown where I grew up, as well as in Santa Barbara and so on. So I use the weather, underground weather app quite a bit, but that has a lot of ads in it. I can use ad block, and it'll block out a lot of those ads from coming up, and it blocks out pop-up windows and stuff. So it's a really nice ad extension to have on there. So this is next one here. This is a shortener, a Google shortener. I use this all the time, and what I do is that if I want to use this page someplace else, if I want to have this URL here, rather than copy this big URL here, I just click on this little extension here. This is the URL that's been shortened, and all I have to do is click on copy, and now it's in my clipboard. And I can just go and insert that and paste that into any other site that I want to do that with. I use that a lot for if I find a website that I'd like to share with people on email, I'll just copy it, go into email, and paste it in there so that people can get to it right away. As a math teacher, I'm always using my calculator. This is a basic, simple calculator. I teach middle school math, so I don't really need a fancy one. But there's a nice little calculator that just comes and goes as you want. And as I mentioned with extensions, you don't leave the page you're on. So whether I'm on this page or whether I'm on this page here where we have the Google Hangout, I can click on any of these things and they come up right there for me. So I don't have to leave the page. This is my Google Voice extension. Google Voice is a really nice tool. If you haven't used that, you might want to look into it a little bit. It's a way of managing your telephone numbers. We all seem to have 2, 3, maybe 4 different telephone numbers: work, home, mobile phone. With Google Voice, you can actually have them all come into one phone number. There's a lot of great tools that you can use with this, and I don't have time to get into it here, but you may want to look at that, and I can make a call just by clicking on that one button there. Evernote is something I've entered into on my extensions. I really haven't used it much. I haven't tried playing with it yet. It looks really cool. When I put it on here, what I was thinking is my wife and I could share this Evernote site, and whenever we have, I was thinking grocery lists, for instance. We need to get milk, and I want to get this. I can either speak into Evernote, or I can text into Evernote, and my wife can look at that. So if she's at the market and she knows what I need without calling me and stuff, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun to use sometimes. You can do a lot more with it, but I really haven't played with it. Another nice extension. I haven't used this one much. The Session Manager one, I have it up there. It helps you organize some of the windows that you have. This one I put in here, I've used a couple of times. It's Google Chrome to Phone. And if you've ever had the time when you see a website and you would like to either keep that website for some reason, or you want to send it to someone, usually what you do is you copy the address, the URL, go to your email, send that, pick someone who you're going to send that email to, and then drop that URL into the email. Phone to Chrome allows you to actually go in and just with one click send that URL to your phone, and so it's there right away for you. And you can then when you get home and you want to find the URL, it's real easy to find. So that works quite well. This is Google Calendar. Google has just about all of their tools on some type of app of extension. And so there's things like Google Reader, Google Docs, this is Google Calendar. Just about all the Google tools you can go in and get an extension for. So rather than, for instance, if I want to add a date to something, rather than come up here and open my open my calendar and then go to that tab, I can go right from any of these pages, and I can just click on calendar right here with my extension. My information comes up, I can add things to it and so on. It works very, very nicely. How are we doing? Do you have any comments or anything coming in, Emma, at all, or anything like that?
No, we look good on the comments for right now.
Okay. Okay. And Eric and Madeline, you following along on this okay?
Oh, everything is going great. I love some of the stuff. Google Voice, I use it a lot.
Great.
For me, basically, it's taken over. I think it's more efficient almost than just texting on a cell phone.
Yeah.
I'll get that anywhere I am, even if I don't have cell phone service.
Yeah, and Google Voice also translate from voice into text, so you can actually have your voicemail translated into text and sent to your email, so it's really kind of nice.
Joe, we have a question that came in here.
Uh-huh.
So here's the comment. I'm really happy using Firefox, but what I'm seeing is intriguing. What did you use before Chrome, and are you satisfied with the switch? And then also, our district IT doesn't support the use of Chrome yet. Have you had any problems with apps and school filters?
Yeah, a good question. I was using Firefox before, and actually I had to come into Chrome kicking and screaming about a year ago, because when I was first using Chrome, it crashed quite a bit. I used to get this little square guy that said, "Oh snap, something went wrong, you have to reload." And snap wasn't the word that came to my mind when it kept on happening. So I started with Chrome, then it wasn't working well for me about a year and a half ago. And then I was involved with some Chromebook stuff with Google, and so I said, well, let me give this another try. And I think they've really improved it a lot. I've not had any problems with things crashing in the last 6 months or so. Obviously, I do like the idea of these extensions and apps. I think they work very well. Our school has a fairly liberal IT. We're a small school. We only have 175 students, and I think we block YouTube and we block Facebook, and that's about it. And even YouTube, we have a way of getting around it. So I've not had any problems with any of these apps being filtered out with my school network at all. Okay, well, I'm going to continue on with some of these extensions here, and then I'm going to get into some of the apps that I use. Right here, I haven't used this one, but someone just told me about it, so I put it on here. It's called Eyedropper. If you're into artistic things at all, this allows you to pick a color from the web page, and it'll save that color to the history, and then you can go and get that color if you want to make something else the same color or so. Again, I haven't used it too much, but I've got it up there and I want to play with it at some time. This is my weather app. Supposed to give me the weather. There it is. Brings up the weather in Santa Barbara. As I said, I sort of get into weather a little bit, so this is really kind of nice. I can just click on this at any time. And again, I want to remind you with the extensions, I'm not changing the pages. I'm still on the same tab I've always been on. This is just coming up in front of my pages here. This app here, I think this is the one. Let me see if this is the one I wanted. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. One of the problems that I had, I'm on a Mac, and one of the issues I had is that if I'm at a website and there's an email link, every time I clicked on the email link, my Apple Mail would come up, and I don't use Apple Mail, and I did not configure it. And I've gone in a couple of times into my Mac trying to configure it so that when I clicked on a live link in a web page for email, it would bring up my Google Mail, and it just was never working. This app here, this extension has done that for me. Anytime that I even click on a live link now, it automatically comes up and goes into my Gmail rather than the Apple Mail, which for me is very, very, very helpful. So I really like that mail one. This is the Google Tasks, and if you go to your, let me see if I've got it up here. I don't have it up here. Let me bring it up. I'm going to show you my live Gmail, so hopefully there's nothing, it's not overloaded with questions right now or anything. But this is my live Gmail, and one of the things you can do in Gmail is you can go to your tasks. And so this link over here, this extension right here, takes me to my Google tab list, and I can put things in here and they show up in my task on my Gmail. And I can even have it set up so that it goes to my calendar. So all these Google Tasks, Google Calendar, and so on, they're all linked together and they're synced together so that you can go right in and you just put it in one place and it shows up. And again, I haven't played with this too much, but you can actually go in and highlight something on a web page and then click on task, and it'll save either the text or it'll save the URL. So there's a lot of, you could play with tasks a lot, both in Gmail and on this extension here, to do a lot of very productive things, more like 1 or 2 steps versus 10 steps to get things done, to put things in, take it out, to make sure they're reminded and everything like that. This is my Google Docs. And when I click on Google Docs, I can get, should be coming up here in a second, it's fetching my docs. So my Google Docs list will come up here in a second here. It's going kind of slow. But basically, if you haven't used Google Docs, it's an online Office suite that has presentations and word processing, spreadsheets, and so on. And I use it all the time. That's the only word processor I use, only spreadsheet I use. and it's really, everything's kept in the cloud, so no matter what computer I'm on, I can get to. This is just an extension that, rather than have me go to my Google Docs tab, open a new window, I can find all my titles right in here. I can search just like I would for anything in here. So if I were to put in, let me just put in math, I don't know what's in there. So this is my math stuff that comes up here. So works very nicely, again, keeping you from having to get all these tabs open. There was one here that, this is Google Translate. This is another one I just put on, I haven't played with, but basically you can, let's see if I can play with this a little bit here. Let me find a site. I won't do that. But Google Translate, if you never worked with Google Translate, it's amazing. You can take a web page and just click one button and it'll translate it into another language. Now, this becomes really handy if you're with a school and you've got a web page that you want to send to parents. At my school, a lot of my parents only speak Spanish, read Spanish, and so I can click on that button and send them that web page or send them a document that will be translated into Spanish without having to, find someone who can rewrite the document for me. So, and the translation is fairly accurate. It works really, really well. I'm just going to go back to live here to make sure you see that I am still a live person and talking to you. So anybody have any comments or questions that before we go on to looking at applications at all?
We have one question here, Joe. It says, how do you know which apps work with the new Google Drive?
Work with the new Google Drive. They're not really connected. If I understand the question right, they're not really connected to the Drive. The Google Drive is really your Google Docs directory now, and it's been expanded a lot more. But these apps all work in Chrome. Anything that would work with Google Drive, I'm not sure. Maybe you have.
Yeah, I have a bit of an answer there. I know that there are a couple applications already available. I know things like DocuSign, Aviary, WeVideo. Those have all already integrated with Google Drive, and it's an open platform, so we expect more apps to be coming in the coming days and weeks.
Okay, so integrating in with Google Drive. So you mentioned Aviary, which is a suite of audio and visual editors, and so that's already integrated with Google Drive. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so I believe that they already have. You guys can do a quick search in the Chrome Web Store if anyone wants to check it out, but I believe that there are a number of apps that have already integrated with Google Drive, so they should be showing up in there.
Great. So this last extension here is something I just put on there. How many of you have seen it? It's called LastPass. It's kind of cool. What it is that, and I'm sure many of you have the same type of situation where you have passwords all over the place, and I've got a couple that I use all the time. But you go into a new site that wants you to register, and you have to get a password. Parameters of what it has to be. It has to have a exclamation point, has to have capital letters, small letters, numbers, and so on. And unless you put them someplace, finding those passwords that are not the ones you typically use can be very, very frustrating. So LastPass, you might want to check out. LastPass actually lets you go in and put one password in, and that is used for all your passwords. And it looks like it's very secure. I just loaded this on about 2 days ago. I read a little bit about it. Seems pretty nice. But you might want to check that one out as an extension. Looks like it'll be pretty interesting. Okay, so those are some of the extensions that I find interesting. And now what I'd like to do is go in and look at some of the apps that I have on there and that I have on my machine. And again, that app store goes on forever. Feel free to go there and just play with things. It's really easy to remove an app, and it's really easy to add an app. So I've got an app here that I never use, this timer one. So if I want to get rid of it, I just hold on it, I bring it down here. It says remove from Chrome, and it's gone. That's it. So there's no harm in going and you see an app that you might be interested in. There's no harm in going and go ahead and load it on there, try it, play with it. If after a few minutes you don't like it, you can certainly just take it off. So the apps that I mostly use, I use my TweetDeck one. If you're a tweeter, then this is a nice one to use. It takes you right to your Twitter site. Let me see. Here's a good example of what I use for a password I can't remember. Hopefully that's it. No, that's not it. Let me try one more thing here. Not it. Okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time on that. But this will take you to your Twitter site. Great, if you're tweeting, TweetDeck works really quite well with that. Let's go back now to... should take me to a new page. Right there I am. Okay, so back to my new tab page. TweetDeck works. I go to my Google Docs a lot. As a teacher, a lot of times I'll give my students something to do and I want to have them have a little pressure to get it done on time. So here's a nice little easy timer. You just put in the time here, well, 5 minutes, say go, and off it goes, and you can have that up. If you have a projector in your room, you can show that on the projector, and it'll count down for you. That's a nice app for teachers. This one here, this word stash I just found, I think it's really cool. It actually is a place to create digital flashcards. So you can, I was just playing with this a little bit. For instance, you can come down here and if you want to improve your vocabulary, and there's thousands of lists on this stuff, but you can go here and it'll bring up these words, and as you click on them, the definition comes up here. So you want to learn some new words, you could go through here. There's ways of practicing these. You can embed the flashcards into a blog or a website. Great uses for your students, right? If you're a language arts person and you have them learning vocabulary, but even math. I mean, there's so many terms in math that we have to get them to learn. Rather than having the physical flashcards, you can put them in here. You can find lists that they already have and so on. So this, again, I just loaded this on my machine. I think I'm going to find some good uses for that one. I'm a foodie. I love to cook, and so there's lots and lots of good sites out there on food, on recipes. So I have an app here for going to a food site. Google Maps is something I use all the time. And in Google Maps, for getting directions, for finding places, for if you've used maps at all, you know that's a great site. Let's see if there's any other particulars. Does anyone out there have any that's participating? Have any sites they want to explain or think are really great sites to use? If you're listening and you've got a great site you want to highlight, go ahead and type it in, and Emma can let us know what it is. In the meantime, I lived in Mexico City for a couple of years. I taught down there, and my Spanish was pretty good. I was about 80% fluent. Since I've been back, I've almost lost it all. So I have this fantasy someday of actually really studying my Spanish again. So I put this on here, and as with most language lessons, I never use it, but this looks like it's kind of a cool place to go if you really want to be serious about learning your Spanish. This might be a nice site to go to.
What is...
Hello? I hear someone. Okay. Another cool site. These are more sites that you could use with your students, or if you're interested, I'm interested in biology and human biology particularly. This is a great site for studying anatomy. It gets down into some really detailed information about the human body, the nervous system, whatever you want to do, and you can go in here and expand it and take videos. It works very, very nicely. It looks like it's going to take a while to load up. Well, it's moving pretty fast now. Let's see what we get here. I've used a site like this. Google used to have something called Body Browser. I don't know if they still do or not, which was another 3D modeling of a human body, and you could zoom in and zoom out and twirl the guy around and take it would label everything. Oh, this looks pretty good here. So want to learn the bones of the body? Great place to do it. If you're teaching AP Bio, you have to do a little bit of anatomy and physiology. So this would be a great site for that as well. So I'm just coming back here. It's very lonely out there when I've got my screen share on. I guess this is what happens if you're a radio announcer. You're talking into the microphone and you're assuming people are listening, but you start worrying, start saying, "Are they really still out there?"
Joe, people are listening.
Okay.
Someone just wrote in saying that Quizlet is available in the Chrome store, and it's a flashcard tool which her students love to use. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that app.
Yeah, I have looked at that. Quizlet. Yeah, we can actually bring that up to the web store here. That's a nice one for making online quizzes. This app here. So, am I showing my screen right now? I don't think I did that right. Let me just go see if I got my screen on here. I meant to do this. There it is. So this is Quizlet. Actually, I'll show you how I did that. So when you want to go look. So I just went to a new tab. I clicked on the Chrome Web Store, and I went up to search and started typing in Quizlet. Quizlet, hit enter, and there it is. So if I click on that, I get a better description of it. You can make online quizzes. You can do flashcards and so on. I don't know if there's an app. I'm going to try to find one. One of the online test makers I make is called That Quiz. I don't know if it's in here or not. They have an app or not. No, they don't seem to have an app for that. So yeah, Quizlet, very nice one. Anything else out there people are shouting out at? Aviary. Well, while people are maybe coming up with some ideas, Aviary is a tool that is owned by Google. They purchased it from, I think, out of New York. It's really quite a powerful editor. It's not only a photo editor, but it's like an online GarageBand. It's really quite nicely. You can do a lot of stuff with it. So if you're familiar with Photoshop and you don't want to spend the money to use Photoshop, this comes pretty close to Photoshop. And there's a couple of other ones out there like that now. That you can do more basic photo editing, but this one's pretty elaborate. And I've used this to make the Phoenix image editor is like Photoshop, but they've got a suite of about I'm going to guess 6 or 7 different tools, and one is very similar to GarageBand that you find on a Mac. They're very good also. Here's another editor, Pixlr. There used to be one called Picnic, and I heard that they took that offline, so that Picnic may not be there anymore. But Pixlr is another editor, creator of things. These are great tools to use for your students to put lessons together, things like that. Of course, Wikipedia. And you're noticing as I'm going to these applications, I'm not going to a different, I'm not loading this down on my computer. I'm not doing anything more than going to another web page. So it works really nicely in how quickly you can go and find things that you want to find and bring up applications that you want.
In terms of other test-taking applications, I wanted to point out one called Zoho Challenge. I know of a couple schools using that. So if anyone's looking for those, I know that there was some comments about online test and quiz makers. That's an option as well.
And I think I just saw a comment about mind mapping. And I did see an app not too long ago. what was it called? I wonder if I have it on my list here. It was like that. It was a way of making mind maps and Venn. I can't remember it right away, but again, going to the web store and just doing, well, let's try that. Let's go to the web store and see what we get if we click on mind mapping here. Okay, so yeah, so here's some applications for doing that. Be careful in the web store because you can get set into a spider's web and find that the day has gone by as you look at all these hundreds and thousands of apps that are on here. So if you're curious about that, you start going one place and you start getting into more and more things, and you see something, oh, that's interesting. It can really take up a lot of your time. So if you're one of those people that really get into that kind of thing, you could spend a lot of time just looking at all the different apps. That is about everything that I have to talk about. I'm wondering if we have any other comments or anything else you'd like to say before we close this on up.
Quick question. These are all free?
Yeah. Everything I've seen so far is free. Emma, do you know there's some out there that I think there are that cost money?
I believe there may be a few that cost money. I don't know of any educational apps that schools I've been speaking with are using that cost money yet. So most are free still.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, just a quick question that I have. I mean, I use iGoogle, I use Gmail, and of course I have that black bar on the top of the screen.
Right.
Any advantages, disadvantages of having a Google Maps application in the new screen, or should I be using the bar? I mean, or is it relatively the same?
I think they're the same. I think
okay.
You know what if you're in Chrome, what the apps and extensions do is they give you, I think, much more possibilities. They're easy to get to, and the variety is so much greater.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Emma, I guess we should wrap this up.
Yeah, it looks like there aren't any more questions here on the live feed. So I wanted to thank you, Joe. That was a great session. And thank you, everyone who's live there in the Hangout for joining us, as well as the people who commented on Joe's Google Plus page. Again, I put that link on the comments of Joe's Google Plus page, so if you guys want to go ahead and check out some of the other sessions, feel free to look through the sessions there and watch the recorded versions. Thanks again, Joe.
Okay, well, you're welcome. Thank you, Emma, for your help. And Eric and Madeline, thank you for joining us. And I'm going to end this broadcast now.